The really sad knockoff where all the stitching's already coming out, the logo's peeling, nothing's the right color.
Yep.
Look like they got run over by a delivery truck. That's my guy.
That's my guy. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. Stick out. Stick time. And hockey.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our new year, new episode 48 of Stick Talk Hockey. 2024 is underway. As always, here for another year. I'm Tico.
I'm yours truly.
And we're back.
Yeah, we are. And it feels good. New year, new us.
Yep.
Not really.
Well, same old us.
Same old us. Same takes.
Yeah, World Juniors just wrapped up. I was really hoping that Sweden would finish it off and bring home the gold yesterday, but hey, I mean, the U.S. played a great game. What horrific taunting by them, though, again.
I mean, they wanted to play villain. They did it.
Back-to-back golds for them, where they've just been pretty classless with the victory.
I'm very much looking forward to a U.S. humbling at some point soon.
Yeah.
That it's well overdue, and I hope that it'll be Canada that does it, you know?
Of course, yeah. I was cheering for Sweden. You know, obviously a lot of Canucks prospects out in Sweden, but also just they're at home. I like to see the home crowd leave happy and get the hype and all of that.
Of course, who doesn't?
Yeah. So I mean, it was a little bit tough to watch, especially at the end there. But hey, what a great tournament.
Man, that stat line broke my heart too. It was like they showed all of Sweden's home performances since they've had hosting rights.
Yeah.
0 for 8. No wins. Ouch.
I mean, hey, you're leaving with the silver. There's nothing to be ashamed about with the silver, but man, it sucks to lose silver.
It does suck. It's like, yeah, we did it, but like also we didn't really do it.
No,
you know?
No. Like you'd way rather go home with bronze than silver just because you won that last game. You won the bronze.
Yeah, and you didn't finish fourth. It's like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
We made the best of a bad situation. It's like the bad of a best situation. So
exactly.
It's like, you know, it's hard to feel good about. But I mean, hopefully it just lights a fire into some of these kids and they just come back next year better, stronger, faster.
Yeah.
Because that's a hell of a team they got. And they got a lot of young kids, too.
Yeah.
They did
100%.
not have a lot of kids aging out. They're sitting around 17, 18.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of guys back next year, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting.
Yeah. The Czechs go home with bronze. What a finish to that game, dude.
Holy cow. I'm so glad I tuned into that one.
Down 5-2 in the second. End up going into the third down 5-3. Down 5-4 with 1:42 left in the game.
And what a goal.
What a goal.
What a sequence.
They score again 15 seconds later. Pot 2 empty netters. That's 4 goals in 50 seconds. I mean, we talked so much last week about how good Czechia plays the game.
And it's more than just their system. They're so relentless. Like, they understand they're the underdog, and it just fuels them. They thrive with that narrative.
But that's where it comes in, right? Like the structure, the intensity, all of that. That's when it wins you medals.
Yeah,
is at the end of games when it's tight, nerves are high. Oh, like these are kids. Yeah. The nerves are crazy, right?
Oh, for sure.
And they just don't stop.
No,
they just don't stop at all. They keep going the way they're going, and I mean, hey, it turned into a medal for them.
You know what? I was watching the Finns skate off in the second, and I didn't change the channel. Normally, I would, 5-3. It's like, or 5-2. It's like, we'll passively watch this now.
Sure. Yeah.
I watched them skate off the ice, and I was like, that's so problematic. Like, they all had the biggest grins on their faces, knuckle bumping, ass slapping. It's like, oh, buddy, you have 20 minutes to go. You have no idea what you're in for yet.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a casual walk.
No.
And they treated it like a casual walk. They were trying to make those long stretch passes, dump and chase in the zone, and then just kill the clock. And every time that they got that turnover back, they swallowed it.
Wow.
It was a tough defensive performance.
Yeah, it was.
When
really
you
was.
consider protecting a lead.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
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 Yeah, I mean, That's a tough choke from the Finns, truly.
And you can't blame the goalie. I honestly can't blame him.
No.
3 of 4 of those goals were stunning.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, stunning or through ridiculous traffic, like or tips and just crazy stuff, like stuff you can't realistically expect your goalie to save.
No, exactly. It was the same thing we saw in the Sweden-US game where it was like 4 Swedes screening the goalie.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you want?
Yeah, like you can't fix that.
Yeah, and hey, what did we talk about last week with Canada? Arrogance.
Yeah, it'll come back to bite you in a big way.
Seems that it did. We haven't been on here since that game. Even we're just talking about the medal games here, but they lose to the Czechs, and deserve to.
And I wasn't shocked. They played like hell.
Yeah,
and they didn't play anything structured.
Yeah,
it was embarrassing. Actually,
it was embarrassing.
The stretch passes from their own icing line up to the center line that never worked. Yet they continually tried to do it. The cheating off the boards. The losing of the assignments to try and get the quick breakaway.
Yeah.
It wasn't honest hockey is what it was.
No, not at all.
It was cheap, meaningless beer league hockey.
I mean, the two teams couldn't be more opposite, you know? I mean, you watch Czechia playing the team game that they play versus Canada's. They're still so individualistic. Running around trying to make big plays on their own. They got what they deserved.
Yeah, and you know what? Not taking the simple plays when they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times do we see a beautiful, wide open one-timer to the slot that was quickly passed off with a one-touch pass to a guy in coverage on the other side of the net? It's like, dog, you don't got to make a tic-tac-toe pass to score.
Right.
Sometimes the give and go is all you need.
Totally.
The fact that you are not willing to just tee off on that thing and send it top shelf is kind of concerning as a scout because you're either going, well, this guy either doesn't have the confidence to shoot, or he's overthinking the game to the point his hockey IQ's out the window.
Right. I definitely saw a lack of confidence from those shooters.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying. Like, you have to have, like, mentality goes the furthest in this tournament.
Absolutely.
It's the guys that just understand their job and do it to a T.
Sure.
Because as soon as you start cheating, like, this is a world-class tournament.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a top 3. These are world-class athletes, and they will make you look stupid if you do stupid shit.
100%.
That's all they did the entire game.
Yeah.
It was a quick out, and it was not shocking.
No, it wasn't. And unless things change, it won't be shocking next year either.
No. And I mean, we've talked about it so much, but it comes strictly from the entire system.
Yeah.
Top down.
Yeah.
Even at local community rinks. Oh, this guy's going to get in because, he's the son of the coach.
Yep.
Should probably be on the team below, but, he's going to get 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Why?
Or he's the son of the coach's friends even. Like, the amount of favoritism in hockey, particularly in Canada, it hinders the game. It really does.
Yeah, and I think it's far too spread out. I think that there's not nearly enough of a community aspect in Canadian hockey.
Yeah.
You look at how they talk about the United States program.
Yeah.
It's night and day.
Right.
They have the U.S. National Development Team, which is the best players across the country that come to train in Michigan all the time. It shows.
Totally.
They play together all the time. It's very evident. You look at how hard Canada struggled to gel.
Yeah.
Even all the way into the medal games.
Yeah.
They could not get it together.
No.
The States were on the same page instantly.
Yeah, those guys, because they played.
Yeah, 5-6 years together.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there since it was U15.
Yeah, it's gotta see some change because I mean, none of us want to imagine it, none of us want to think about it, but every World Junior American win is one step closer to a American Olympic win.
Yeah, it is, and we don't want that, do we?
I don't want to see it. I'm sorry to my American listeners. I love y'all, but
no. When it comes to world hockey, no, I feel no shame.
I haven't seen it in my lifetime. I don't plan on seeing it in my lifetime.
I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
I heard way too much about y'all when TJ Oshie was just ripping it in the shootout for 7 straight shots, you classless buggers. You have one guy that can score on the shootout, and you're so damn proud, aren't you? Oh.
Lekaramaki. This guy wins the tournament MVP. He's got 7 goals, 3 assists in 10 games. What a turnaround for this prospect, dude.
Yeah.
He was taken, I believe, 15th overall by the Canucks 2 years ago. Super high ceiling, low floor, and had a horrific D1 year. Like, horrific first year after the draft. Not really his fault. Lots of injuries. When he played, he looked rattled and unconfident and all of these things. And he has just turned it on this year and kept that rolling into the World Juniors. Super exciting for the Canucks, who desperately need a scoring winger.
100%, especially when you're having issues with was it Kuzmenko or
Kuzmenko?
Yeah, you just scratched him, right?
Again. Again.
I mean,
Friedman said that, like, because he got scratched. He's been scratched 3 times this year now.
Yep.
And they had one scratch before the winter break where they sat down. They had a really good conversation. Everyone got on the same page. And here we are 2 weeks later, and he's scratched again. And it seems that it may be the last straw.
Yeah, some players just don't get it until they get traded.
Yeah.
It's just one of those rude wake-up calls when you have to go condo shopping.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes that's all it takes is just, like, rattling the cage and getting them in a new environment where they have to start over entirely.
Totally.
It's a whole new life.
Totally.
You don't have the bars you like to go to. You don't have the friends you like to hang out with.
Right.
You don't have this or that. Now you have the rink and the team, and you got to go be at the rink with the team all the time because that's all you got.
Right.
And it works. That might be the piece you guys should look at moving.
Yeah,
we're talking about how the Canucks need to bolster before the playoffs because
do.
this is a window that you have to jump at. He's not doing much for you, and he's got a pretty decent tag still.
I know it's so tough because, like, the problem with Kuzmenko isn't the production. I mean, it hasn't been eye-popping like it was last year, but I mean, his production's been better than any of his replacements have been, right? They've been putting Sam Lafferty up there and stuff like that, and, like, come on. The guy's got 1 point in 10 games up with Pettersson. It's not the same.
No.
But, I mean, Kuzmenko doesn't play Rick Tocchet hockey.
No.
Tocchet likes heavy, north-south hockey.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy forecheck, all of those things. Kuzmenko does not play that type of hockey.
No, he's very pretty with it.
Very pretty with it, which is why he scored 39 goals last year, 40 goals.
That's how he walked himself into an $11 million contract.
Dang right. It's hard to see this relationship working out its problems. So I think you got to try and move him.
I think you should, especially because if this continues to go the way it does, you see nothing but a hit on your return.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at a guy who has 39 goals at an $11 million contract, which is justifiable now.
Totally.
Especially if you go to the trade table and go, he just doesn't get the new coach. New coach doesn't get him.
Yeah.
He doesn't work for our system. But he'll get you 39 still.
Which I think is true.
I think it's true, too.
Yeah.
I think he'd thrive on a team like... I could name 6 or 7, actually. There's a lot of teams that could really use this kid.
You know,
Carolina.
Where I think
they
he'd
can't
do really
afford
well.
him, but New Jersey?
No.
Ah.
Well, kind of, actually, yeah. I just don't think you need more scoring wingers.
No, and we don't need any more pretty players.
The Rangers.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good take.
No.
That's a good take. I like that one. Or Ottawa.
Yep. Absolutely, Ottawa.
Ottawa, that I think he would be insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And they could send you back Giroux. Scoring veteran.
I would like Giroux.
With playoff presence.
And a center.
And a center. That's big. And you can drop Giroux to your third line.
Yeah.
And have like 3 really, really good first/second lines.
See, the Canucks, it's so tough because, like, there's talks about Jake Gensel, right? Why? Because the Canucks need an elite winger. For a team that for so long has had so much money wrapped up in wingers, it's the one thing they don't have now is like a truly elite play driving winger.
Yep.
Besser is like kind of almost that, but he's not the guy on a cup team like a Kucherov or a Patrick Kane or a Mikko Rantanen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not going to be like the game breaker where, you could just send it to him and watch him work.
Like they have elite players at every other position, right? Center, defense, goaltending, yada yada yada. That's their spot that they need the help. So that's why people start talking about Gensel, yada, yada. But what blows my mind is that they have it. They're just forcing him to play center. And that's JT Miller.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that too. Is like you have a really, really talented winger in JT Miller.
JT Miller, like, he's been a very good centerman for the Canucks. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He has been very good. But, like, he's legitimately an elite winger.
Yep.
Like, I mean, this guy's got 100-point seasons on the wing.
Yeah. It's night and day again.
The Lotto line, I mean, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser was we've still never seen a line that good with this current formation of the Canucks.
I don't know why you don't go back to it, to be honest.
Because we have like who's playing 2C then?
Yeah, I mean,
Pius Suter's been really nice, but I mean, you don't want him as a certified 2C.
no, that's a 3C.
Nils Amon, you want him playing 2C?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's tough.
but my thought process is it's got to be easier to acquire a 2C than it is a truly elite winger.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. There's like 3 or 4 of them on the market right now, and I mean, like, Duchesne's not really cracking 2C anymore. He's more of like a
He's having a good
3C,
season, though.
But he's coming back.
Mhm.
He's serviceable for a year as a 2C. He's probably not going to ruin your chances.
Yeah.
In fact, he'll probably make them better.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
That's a guy whose his contract's dropping rapidly.
Yeah.
He's more affordable by the year. That's a good guy to look at. There's like 3 or 4 of them out there. Jamie Benn.
I think Rutherford's gonna take a big swing here. It's what he does.
Doesn't Rutherford have Pittsburgh ties too?
Yeah, well, that's directly where he came from.
Yeah, so
He signed that last Jack Gensel contract.
I mean, like, he's got the taste for him.
Yeah.
So,
And you look historically at what Jim Rutherford does when he joins a team that he thinks is ready to contend. It's not third liners he adds.
no.
It's not perimeter pieces, right? What did he do in Carolina? Carolina, I mean, I'm sure he's having flashbacks to Carolina right now. Guaranteed. Like, 2006, that team was not supposed to be very good. No one expected them to be very good. They found themselves at the top of the league in the new year. So what did he do? He added Doug freaking Waite. What did they do? They won the cup. Did they ever get back to it? No. But who cares? They got their cup.
Yeah.
What did he do when he got to Pittsburgh? Well, I mean, he was doing some other stuff. but was it his big moves weren't, adding that third line center. He went and got Phil Kessel.
Yeah.
That's my guy. Big swings. That's what Rutherford does. And I think he's got to be looking at this team and thinking about doing the same.
You have to at this point. When we talk about the window the way that we have in like episodes recent, you got 4 years where this is feasible with everything working out.
I honestly think that like this year is the best chance.
I agree.
I see no way that the team's not worse next season with them being fully capped out. They have literally 15 expiring contracts, all needing raises.
And a bunch of guys that are aging out quick.
Yeah, like Ian Cole, guys like that. But then like Dakota Joshua is going to get a raise. Elias Pettersson, I don't know about you guys, but I think he'll probably get a little bit of a bump in that contract. Philip Hronek is going to get a massive raise. This might be your best shot over the next 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you consider how much you have tied up in Kuzmenko and how attractive of a player he is to this market still.
Yeah.
You got to move that.
Yeah.
You've got to take that big swing. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he does potentially a 3-way deal with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh doesn't give a damn about collecting an 11 mil player for 2 years that they're going to have to re-sign again when they already have the Crosby, Malkin, and Letang contracts to entertain.
Yeah.
They're trying to get away from that by moving Gensel and getting picks so that they can start the rebuild while casually playing their stars into retirement.
Right.
I could see them easily doing a 3-way trade where they retain some of that cap, send you over Gensel, and then collect picks in return.
Yeah.
And you guys send Kuzmenko to so-and-so.
Team.
Yeah.
You know what, though? If I completely see that, and I completely agree with it. I also don't think if you're Pittsburgh that getting Kuzmenko is the worst idea. I mean, if you can put him on a wing with Crosby and have him eat, because I mean, it's $11 million contract over 2 years, $5.5 million. If you can get him back to being 40, 50 goals again at next deadline, that's a massive piece for you again.
Another potential suitor, just because I think they're dumb as hell, and they have no mode but go.
Yeah.
Calgary.
Calgary.
This is a team that is rich to the tits with defense that they can't keep or re-sign.
Yeah.
And this is a team that desperately needs an elite winger.
Yeah.
They so badly need something to supplement that team because Huberdeau still ain't it. Kadri still ain't it.
Yeah, no.
Like, you are the absolute tits of the NHL right now. The saggiest, most unappealing tits.
If they were smart, they'd sell. And you know who I would love to get is Lindholm.
Yeah.
That's a dude. That's a 2C that changes your franchise.
Yeah. However, I don't think that what Lindholm is fetching, you're going to be able to pay that.
No.
But I think you would be able to get some really nice defensive assets.
Yeah. Even then, like I said, this year is the best year that they have. I'm not opposed to getting a rental. I'm really not.
Tanev or Hannafin?
I would love to bring Chris home.
Is that not what you need for the playoffs right now? Would that not just completely solidify your defense if you had that one guy that could just close that crease out for those cross creases?
That would just warm my heart.
I think that the Tanev-Demko duo would be insane.
Yeah. Tanev Demko?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of people always put stock, like, into, and I forgot about this actually, because I'm playing defense for the first time in like 5 years.
Sure.
And I have a capable goalie for the first time in like a year and a bit.
Right.
And he communicates with me.
Right.
Which is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I'm in no man's land between two players,
Yeah.
he can yell, "I have the shot," or "Watch the shot, I'm covering pass."
Right.
And I know where to go.
Totally.
Or if my defensive partner gets trapped.
Yeah.
Or if I have someone sneaking behind me on the wing that I didn't see drop down, he'll yell right side, "Watch your man."
Right.
And I know immediately to back up and watch the back door on the right. I think Demmer with where he's at and Tanev with where he's at, those two communicating and just working that crease and stopping everything inside of that low slot, chef kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very fair. Very, very fair. So this weekend, past weekend, the Winter Classic happened.
How was it?
Man, Winter Classic was a riot. We went down, me and producer Jonesy, along with my brother and Carly, went down for the for the Winter Classic. They really did kill it in arena.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, the viewing, I was really nervous about the viewing. You know, like, you always hear, like, well, what are you going to sit with binoculars from a million miles away, yada, 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 right?
Yeah.
We were in, like, left field, basically, and we could see everything. There was one little corner, like, the near corner that was tough to see, but, I mean, we saw the whole game. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, you sent me some snaps, and it looked really, really good. Like, the seats did not look bad.
No, it was fantastic. I mean, shout out to Joey Decord. 35 save shutout. First ever shutout in a Winter Classic.
You love to see it. What a comeback.
Love to see it. I mean, it's cool, too. They got the panel right there. You get to see, Gretzky and all. Gretzky.
and Gretzky.
Who cares about Biz, but.
I mean, it was pretty entertaining watching him duke it out with Boo.
yeah, it was. They really just did it right. The anthem was ridiculous, okay? I've never been to an American stadium for like a big game like that. You see it on TV, but it does not do it justice, right? They got this 14-year-old kid doing the Jimi Hendrix rendition of the anthem, right? The electric guitar with the wails. He's just absolutely killing it. They got the fireworks popping in the background. Boom, boom, boom. They've got like attack helicopters flying over the stadium with guys, armed military members, hanging off of the helicopter, waving American flags. 50,000 people just chanting, USA, USA. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life, and I loved it.
Good Lord.
It was absolutely awesome.
Oh my god.
Backwards ass country.
Wild.
But I mean the whole in arena thing was awesome. Sir Mix-a-Lot, that was funny as hell to see Sir Mix-a-Lot. Haven't thought about that name in a very long time.
I was gonna say, what a name.
Yeah, shout out. I mean, they had a bunch of Seattle legends come out. Marshawn Lynch, Matt Hasselbeck, my boy. Yeah, it was so much fun. The city was humming, and I was really, really impressed by how much a new team in an American market has taken over the city of Seattle.
Yeah, I mean they're truly endeared.
Like, well, it was one of the big talking points when they first announced that team, right? Is that Seattle is Seahawks land.
Yep.
That's what they love is the Seahawks. The basketball team failed. They're gone, right?
Yeah.
They ride for the Hawks down there. And then, I mean, Seattle had a rough start. They were awful their first year, and it was the COVID year. There was no fans. It was a rough start down there, but I swear, man, I don't know how they did it. I mean, they beat the defending champs last season. That probably helped a lot.
Big time.
But it's everywhere. Everywhere. There's jerseys everywhere. Everywhere you go, every storefront's got Seattle Kraken stuff in the windows. They got their own Seattle Kraken beer in all the restaurants. Like, it was everywhere. People were asking me about the game. Like, I'm walking around in my hat and yeah, Kraken. It was great, dude. It was great. Shout out to the city of Seattle. Dirty ass city, but
And taking ownership of this team.
yeah. I mean, man, they really ride for them, and it was just awesome to see when you're down in an American market.
Yeah. No, and I think that it's probably conducive to it being a new team.
Yeah.
Like, people have a lot more patience with new teams.
Yeah.
So them having a slow start and building up and building up and building up, it makes you feel good as
Yeah.
a fan as well.
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, there's just a different experience than like when you show up rooting for a team that's already winning.
Yeah, totally.
And then go through the depression years.
Right.
Me.
Yeah. Hey, yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
it's like you feel like you're building with the team. You
Right.
feel like every year you're like watching the team get better and
Right.
you're a part of that as
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah.
It's a cool experience.
Totally is. And I mean, everything just looked great down there too. Like, I mean, the jerseys looked so good. Both teams' jerseys looked really nice. I know a lot of people didn't really love the Vegas ones. I thought they were still pretty great. The matchup looked awesome. The whole in arena stuff looked awesome. The people on the boats pretending to fish. They were chucking the fish over them as they were walking out and stuff. Right. It was just. I was shocked actually at just how much care it seemed was put into it, which tends not to happen from the NHL.
No, and I think that that's also really speaking to them tapping into that market. Like,
Mhm.
there's just so much extra stuff that to us seems kind of silly. Like,
Yeah.
you know, highlighting the fish market so much and making like fish such a big part of your team. But like, it real deal is a big thing in Seattle.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, it's like a place you have to visit.
It's
If
a
you,
big part of that city's identity.
Yeah, if you ask someone from Seattle, like, I have 3 days there, where should I go? They're going to tell you fish market.
Pike.
And you're going to be
Yep.
like, what?
Yep.
But it's a big deal.
Totally.
The NHL, or whoever at least is running this team and their PR, did a great deal of work to figure out what exactly Seattle was endearing to.
Yeah. 100%.
And then knit their identity so closely with it. And I have to applaud them for that, because, you know, we usually yell at the Chell for doing the exact opposite, like you said.
Yeah. And yeah, so it was a great time. Shout out to Joey Decord. That must have been really cool for him, you know, having stadium, because that place was packed to 50,000 people, 47,000, 47 point whatever, but pretty much 50,000 people.
And he's been duking it out.
Chanting his name, Joey, Joey, Joey. Must have been awesome.
So deserved, because
Yeah.
he was duking it out on that depth chart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Awesome to see. And then he gets back-to-back shutouts. He got another shutout on Wednesday.
that's the boy.
Yeah. What a guy.
That's the boy. I love it. Viewership was at an all-time low, though.
It was. I saw that. I don't know how much we can read into that. It's been a pretty big talking point that the viewership was at an all-time low. I mean, we're talking about 2 expansion teams. which I mean, shout out to Seattle, shout out to Vegas. They don't have the fan base nationally that, the original 6 teams do, or even any of the Canadian teams, just in general.
No, you look at the highest grossing years where they were comparing it to with their 4.4 million viewers.
Yeah.
It's Toronto, Detroit.
Yep.
It's Montreal, Toronto.
Yep.
It's
Toronto, Boston.
Pittsburgh, Detroit.
Totally.
Who were it was Pittsburgh, Washington.
Sure. Yeah.
Which, you had Prime Crosby, Prime Ovechkin duking it out.
Of course.
Yeah, of course you're going to get 4.4 million. They're the face of the entire league.
Exactly.
Everyone's watching those two.
So, I mean, that's unsurprising for that reason. Also, I mean, you do it exclusively through TNT. It's so hard to watch anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got college football playoffs on, and illegal streams still on the rise. I mean, we see it everywhere. It doesn't surprise me that viewership is going down, along with, we were talking about earlier. How many outdoor games are we going to have a year now?
There's a lot. It doesn't feel very special.
No, like when it was one a year, it felt super special.
Yeah. It was like, you got this.
Yeah.
But now there's, 3 or 4?
Yeah.
It's played out. It's corny.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think it's actually really cool to do it in cities that could host it but would show out for it.
Yeah.
I think that Seattle I thought was really cool because those fans showed out for that. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
That they get to take ownership of. And I think if you did that in smaller markets that have diehard fan bases, it could be really great for those teams rather than worrying about what the national thing is on it.
I was going to say, it's a great way to grow your markets.
Yeah,
exactly. And grow the game.
Exactly.
Even if it doesn't feel like you're winning on a national stage. Also, let's be real. Half of your viewership is under the age of 30.
Sure.
Half of your viewership went out the night before.
Yep.
And they got plastered. They were out until 2 a.m.
Yeah.
When was the last time that you got absolutely blackout, prayed to the porcelain god for 2 hours in the morning, and then went, oh, I'm going to make a coffee and put on the Winter Classic? Not me. I'm going back to bed with a bucket.
I'm not going to lie. That's definitely me.
I mean, I might throw it on the couch if I'm not puking my guts out still. But
even if I am, there's hockey going on the TV.
I doubt that anyone was really waking up for this. Maybe if it was bigger teams.
No, I agree with that, but I don't think
I would not haul my dead drunk carcass out of bed for a 2 expansion team Winter Classic.
I see what you're saying with that, but I don't know how that correlates to less viewership than last year. Because wouldn't it have been the exact same last year?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that it's just like last year was down too.
Yeah, but every year.
Yeah, I just think that New Year's is a bad day to have a game. And if you're going to have a game, it should be at 5.
Potentially.
What are you waiting? Why are you doing it so early?
Well, I mean,
what are you doing? No one's counting down.
Well,
we did that last night.
But what's the point of doing an outdoor game if you can't see the outdoors?
Get some lights.
But then it's just like being in an indoor game, bro.
I mean, not really. Outdoor rinks have lights on them all the time. You're still outside. It's still cold as shit.
I would have... That view would have been a lot worse if I couldn't have seen the sky.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that everything all piled in. I mean, think about it. I share my TSN password for World Juniors because no one's paying $20 a month.
Yeah.
You share your password for Sportsnet because no one's paying $200 a month.
Yeah.
Everyone shares their passwords to these streaming services. So you take your viewership and then you assume that someone's sharing their password. You can assume they did that 60%. So that's a quarter of your market gone.
Sure.
Then you have another quarter that can't afford to watch it, period, and doesn't have a friend who can afford to watch it, period.
Yep.
Illegal streams.
Yeah.
And they've only been on the rise since COVID and inflation.
Yep. It's not shocking.
No, of course not. I think that it's still a huge win, though.
I agree.
I think that it's kind of a distracting headline to be oh, they got 1 million views, boo.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Like, I think that the overall upside towards what they did here is much greater than anything else.
Yeah. And again, like, that's something that I imagine definitely with how much buzz was in the city, it was televised down there, how Seattle-centric they made it. Like, I'm sure that was a win in the market down there.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure the bars were packed and people were watching it, but like, you can't account for every person in a bar as a viewer.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it's just the TV screens playing it. Like you said, like, your bar counts for 7 viewers. You got 7 screens.
Yeah.
But you could have
100 people in there.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. So, like, that also doesn't directly correlate. Like, how
Totally.
many people go out to the bar on New Year's Day after tearing it up and go back to back?
Yeah.
Lots.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. So, like, yeah, I think there's a plethora.
It's misleading.
There's a plethora of things here, and the headline's just too misleading to actually, like, put weight into. Do you want to move on to the PWHL, speaking of New Year's?
Yeah, PWHL, also on New Year's.
I tuned in.
Yeah? What'd you think?
It was awesome. Yeah. It was a really good product.
Yeah. I thought it was fantastic.
Like, don't get me wrong, I was very skeptical. Like, I've wanted women's hockey to pop off for a while, but I've also understood very much why it hasn't, because the product was a little boring. I'm sorry. It was slow, and it wasn't very attention grabbing. But boy,
the lack of content.
Yeah,
or contact. Sorry,
but boy, did they change it. These women want to hit. They want to be physical. They want to play. And I heard the biggest thing that they did was they changed around the refs they use entirely.
Oh,
they now are working with AHL refs.
Oh,
who are going to let them make contact and use more discretion and treat them how they would treat the AHL games.
Sure.
As opposed to where they were using international or women's league refs before, where they have, much more
strict rulings around that.
Yeah, and they've been doing that for their whole life. So, of course, they're going to have a hard time breaking away from that, and they're probably going to lean more to making the softer calls.
Totally.
You get an AHL ref in there, and he's going to go, oh, it's fine.
Looks fine to me.
Yeah, it's a good hit.
100%.
And they were eating it up. They loved it.
They were.
That was a physical game. I feel like I was doing the dishes while I was, watching it, but I feel like every time I looked up from, like, putting a dish on the rack, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I didn't watch the first game, obviously, because we were down there, but I've watched a couple since then, and man, they're ruthless.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. The product really is awesome. You're right.
And they have really good talent on all the teams.
Yep.
Like, this is not a slouch league. This is a very deep league with a lot of really, really good players.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and condensed, right? That's the thing. There's only a few teams, and that's what you need. People were really wanting expansions, especially out on the West Coast and things, and that's awesome. But I mean, you want these teams to be uber competitive. That's how you do it.
Yeah, 100%. And it does suck that, you take these two leagues, you condense them into one, and a bunch of people don't have jobs.
Yeah.
But that's temporary.
It's temporary, for sure. Yeah.
And just because they don't have a job on the ice doesn't mean that they don't have a job in the back rooms.
Totally.
How many jobs does one NHL market create?
Yeah.
Or one professional sports market make?
Yeah.
You need trainers. You need equipment
everything.
Managers.
Yeah.
You need scouts.
Yep.
You need everything.
Totally.
Top down. So, like, just because you aren't valuable enough on the ice there doesn't mean you aren't going to be able to make a $60K salary doing something you love.
100%.
Like, I think that there's just so much to be said about how well this looks.
Yeah.
How well this is developed in such a short turnaround.
Yeah, I completely agree. Still, you need names and logos. You need it. It's got to happen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, and I understand they had a commitment to these players to get them out as soon as possible. So, ho-hum. But I think you probably could have, like, just given one person the task and let them run with it.
Yeah.
You probably, and I've also heard, like, a big reason why they just went with the no logos, no colors, really, aside from, like, what you would assume.
Right.
Toronto gets blue.
Yeah.
But a big reason because of that is they wanted to tap into the local markets and find what spoke to them.
Sure.
And really represent the women's local markets there, what they wanted to see and what Toronto was going to identify with.
Right.
They didn't want to pick an identity for Toronto to fly colors to. They said, we want them to pick their colors to fly to.
Right.
which I think is cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's fair to let the fans walk to the beat of their own drum a little bit.
Totally.
So yeah, they do really need it, but I'm not upset with it anymore. If they're gonna really engage with the communities, and make it happen.
Yeah, overall, really exciting. The games are great. They're great to have on. Shout out TSN is airing them, and it's been great. I'm excited to keep an eye on that through this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tuning in every time I see a game on. I'm gonna be throwing that on because it's good content. It's good hockey.
Yep, 100%.
It reminds me a lot of like women's Olympic hockey. Like I'd hold it at the same parallel, the same grade. Like it is like very, very good hockey.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So back to our stupid league. We have to talk about the NHL. The All-Star selections came out. Why are we still doing one player per team? Why are we doing that?
I don't know.
These guys are
well,
all-stars.
I do know.
Yeah,
'Cause
participation ribbons.
And Bettman, quote unquote, said he's not going to give a market a reason to not watch the All-Star game. Boo!
It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, dude. You wonder why the All-Star game sucks? It's because you're bringing dudes that aren't
All-Stars.
superstars there.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. Frank Vetrano, good year. Boone Jenner, having a good year.
Not All-Stars.
What are we doing?
Boone Jenner, 2024 All-Star?
Also, how tragic is it that, like, you have a team that has Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau, and neither of them make your participation ribbon All-Star team?
Yeah, ouch.
Ay.
When things are going bad, they're going bad.
I mean, look, Cale Makar is going to be there, right? He's going to get in through their totally not rigged and totally legit last man in vote. But, I mean, to have this list come out and you have Boone Jenner and Frank Vetrano in the All-Star game and no Cale Makar or Elias Pettersson or, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean,
What, Leon Draisaitl? Anyone heard of that guy?
yeah. And I mean, you start to like really consider who got left off the list. Like you could keep going, and it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, dude.
And like, also, this is an all-star game.
Yeah.
Boone Jenner is not a star.
Is he their captain?
Frank Vetrano is not a star. I don't care how good of a season he's had. If we want, like, the NHL constantly is like, we need more viewers for this event.
Yeah.
It's failing.
Yeah.
No one cares.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you pick people no one cares about.
Yeah, totally.
I wanted to see Mason McTavish in the skills competition. I wanted to see Trevor Zegras or Troy Terry.
Yeah.
Those are stars that are under 25 that I relate to, that I want to see ball out.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, I know. Like I don't understand this. I really just don't. I mean, like Washington. Tom Wilson's having the better year? Sure. Who's the face of your team? It's Alex Ovechkin.
He said he didn't want to play again, but I mean, like, even then, how many more people do you have?
Yeah.
You got a lot. And you went with Tom Wilson? There's some young guys from Washington you could have chose.
I don't know, man.
Tom Wilson is the John Scott of this All-Star class for sure.
I mean, Tom Wilson, what has he got? 19 points in 37 games.
Minus 10.
All-Star.
314 points in his career
my
over
God.
717 games.
Oh my God. Hey man, like look, Tom Wilson, I think he's a real important piece on a team. He's a rare player profile. Not an all-star.
No, he's fantastic. He may be an all-star for your team,
Sure.
but that doesn't make him a league-wide
NHL
all-star.
all-star.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
But I mean, clearly though, he's more important than Cale Makar, so I get that. I understand.
Totally, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like, what are we doing? We have Dylan Strome available. We have John Carlson available. We have
Ovi's still leading their team.
We have Evgeny Kuznetsov available. We have, like, we could keep going here. These are all names I would rather see in the all-star game. These are stars. Wouldn't it be better for your viewership if you had a shootout competition and had Kuznetsov doing the bird Then it
He's
would be
doing
Tom
the
Wilson
eagle.
taking a clapper from the slot. Like, what's he gonna do there?
I feel like they should have sent Kemper. But I mean, I think my overall feeling about this is that current season performance shouldn't matter in the All-Star game.
I agree.
It should be your league's biggest stars.
I agree. I think that we need to emphasize star.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest thing here. Is
Totally.
like it's an all-star game.
I couldn't agree more.
These are not stars.
Unless you're going straight specialized, like unless you're going like, okay, we want a speed competition. Let's bring the 5 fastest skaters just for that. That's a different thing, right?
Yeah.
I have no problem with if you wanted to do that either. That could be really cool. See who actually is the fastest player in the league.
Yeah.
Or like hardest shot. You bring just the guys that have, through this year measured the hardest shots in the league.
That's fair.
That would be cool. But instead, like you're not picking either, right? You're just like, you're doing it as an all-star game with the biggest stars, but not with them.
Well, and I mean, how embarrassing is it when you get like pulled into an all-star thing and you get put in a competition that you have no business being in?
No business being in, totally.
We saw it in the fastest skater last year. There was dudes that were like 10 seconds slower than the fastest guy. What are you doing here?
I'm interested to see how Bedard's shot clocks in the skills comp though.
If he plays.
Yeah.
I mean, Brendan Smith kind of had
I
his
feel
way
like
with
he
him.
could probably do the skills comp with a fractured jaw. I don't know. Like
Yeah, probably.
players tend to play through jaws stuff. Well, I think they would if it was non-contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah. I could very much see him maybe doing a skills comp, but he's going to be back in the bubble.
yeah, he's not playing the game. That's for sure.
No, and that sucks. But again, like, he should be there. This is just a thing. Like
The
Why-
NHL is probably livid at Brendan Smith right now.
Yeah.
They're like, you
everyone's always livid at Brandon Smith. I was
yeah.
I was driving here and I was thinking of parables to Brandon Smith,
Yeah.
and the jury's still out. But like the closest thing I could come to on my drive here
Yeah.
was like, those threads of Jordan knockoffs where the logo doesn't even frickin' match.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, he's dribbling instead of dunking.
Yeah.
And it says like Jordan, but it's spelt wrong too.
Yeah. It's
That's like
Jordan.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
Brendan Smith to Brad Marchand. Like Brendan Smith is like the Shaqs to Brad Marchand's Jordans.
That's fair.
You
That's
look
fair.
at him and you're like,
My
they're
immediate.
kind of the same, but this is just way worse.
I thought you were gonna go to Truba.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do him that honor.
But like the knockoff version.
The really sad knockoff where all the
Yeah.
stitching's already coming out, the logo's peeling,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's the right color.
Yep.
Look like they got run over by a delivery truck. That's my guy.
That's my guy.
Also, I didn't think that Hart was actually going to be the goalie that they said he was, and I was proven wrong.
Yeah.
Officially, this season I'm willing to concede.
Yeah.
He is who they said he was.
It's so tough with goalies. I mean, there's a reason that's the one position that hasn't gotten younger.
Yeah.
Because it relies, what do we always say? It's such a mental game with goaltending. And as we know, your brain's not fully developed till you're 25 years old. That's why starting goaltenders tend not to become starting goaltenders until that age. That's why we've seen so many draft picks and players just like the bar is going down, well, or up, I guess, depending on how you want to say it. But in terms of like what age you break into the league.
Yeah.
And it's not really with goalies. It like kind of is, but then they don't actually do it for a few years.
Yeah, it's like that's why we were talking about term with them too. Like it's like,
Totally.
yeah, you want an 8x8 with a young defenseman. You want an 8x8 with a talented forward.
Yeah.
You want to stay as far away from an 8x8 with a goalie as you can.
Of course.
I don't even care if they're like the Markstrom deal even makes my stomach churn.
Yeah.
And that's a goalie that I have the utmost faith in.
Sure.
And I
don't.
still would not pay him that.
No. I mean, it's such a up and down position, but like Carter Hart is one of those goalies where it's like, okay, you saw it when he was young. They put him in a tough situation early, and it's not entirely shocking to me that he's figuring it out, but I'm happy for him.
Yes.
And for the Flyers somehow.
I'm never happy for the Flyers. I'm indifferent to the Flyers and everything they do in every aspect of life.
That's like that's such a like painful diss. That's gotta just hurt. I know. I know our boy Joel's just crying at home right now after that.
Sorry, Joel.
Yeah. I mean, dangerous though. Like, if they are actually kind of good, if this isn't just a one-off, and then you have Matvei Michkov coming over soon, could be scary.
It could be. I mean, this wasn't on our notes for the day, but I mean, it's a good talk. That's a team that's trending in the right direction and a lot faster than I thought.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, I'm waiting for the John Tortorella shoe to drop.
Same.
Because
same.
It always does.
It does.
It doesn't last forever.
I'm giving it like a 3-year expiry date. I think these rookies come in and things go tits up.
I even think 3 is a little bit generous, but I'm comfortable going there as well. 3, yeah. Bye-bye. Because, yeah, I mean, it's every team that he's been with eventually is just like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. You can only yell at your players so much before, you just run out of room.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, let's go to our last topic here. Speaking about Brendan Smith, clean hit on Bedard.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it. He just ran right into him.
I thought it was clean.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about head contact.
Yep.
We saw some more not so clean stuff this week, eh?
You could say that.
Yeah, let's pull up the clip there, Jonesy.
I'll walk you through it here. So we have our favorite friend of the show, Nick Cousins, Mr. Turtle himself, trying to take another high hit on a defenseless player on his knees in front of the board. And my Lord and Savior, who I can never say enough about, Zucker, comes flying in and absolutely boards him. And you know what?
That Cousins hit was so dirty.
It was so dirty. He had absolutely no intention besides hurting the guy.
Yeah.
And you see it right here. Mental health hockey. I hate to say it. No one ever deserves to be hit that way, but if there's anyone who does,
yeah, it's Nick Cousins.
It's Nick Cousins.
100% it is.
Watching him lay motionless on the ice was probably the most satisfied I've ever been watching a hockey play.
Oh, God. I mean, the guy does it over and over again. And we've talked about...
He's clearly not hurt that bad. Like, he's selling it so bad. He looks like he just got shot.
But, I mean, he just elbowed someone in the head.
Yeah.
Like...
while raising off his feet.
Yeah.
And taking 5 strides while they were on their knees.
Yeah, so he gets one back, and I mean, hey, this is what we were talking about, though, with the Goodbranson thing, about policing the game. It's like, now Zucker, like, what did he get for his suspension?
He got 3.
He got 3 games? Oh, where's the other one?
Yeah, where's
Cousins' suspension?
Where's Cousins' suspension? That's a joke. He left his feet on a player that's on their knees, defenseless, back to the boards, and delivered a hit to the head.
Like, I have no problem suspending a guy when he, has a dangerous retaliation to a clean hit. Right?
Yeah.
I do find it really stupid that that's so often the case where there's a clean hit, but it's a big hit and everyone feels like they got to fight the guy. I think that's stupid. But in these situations, it's like, again, if the league's not going to do anything about it, you can't be mad at the players for policing it when you want them to be policing the game.
Yeah. I literally had a conversation like this with the refs last night because there was one hit I was totally fine with. Our dude got ran over, and I was like, keep your head up. That sucks.
Sure.
Then, later in the game, he got absolutely ran through, boarded, headshot. And I went right to the ref, and I was like, hey, man, are you going to do a GIR about that? Because, like, you probably should.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, that's none of your business. And it's like, no, it kind of is. Because if, like...
I am the player rep.
and also, if you're not going to make a GIR to make this a suspendable offense, because we can't hand out suspensions unless you do a GIR for us to respond to, this is going to keep happening in the culture.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, you'll have to wait and see until after the game. And I said, okay, so should I just go over there and take the guy's head off now? Should I set the tone? Like, because that's what you're opening the door for.
Right.
You're entirely open. Like, if the players don't feel protected, they will do what they need to feel protected.
Totally. Well, and the thing is, too, is like, this is going to keep happening. because there was no suspension for Cousins.
There was no repercussion.
People know, teams know, they go in to play Florida. This guy's going to try and throw a dirty hit. They're ready to retaliate already.
Yeah. I have his number in the back of my head. I have his name.
Of course.
And there's guys, when I hit the floor, even in beer league, I'm like, I know this team and I know the numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm watching for
Of
'em.
course. I mean, and these guys are doing scouting.
Yeah.
You know, like when there's no repercussions for the actions, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, they keep happening, and they happen more and more and more until it becomes something that you wanted to avoid. A broken neck, a career-ending injury, another Bertuzzi incident.
We've seen it.
We've seen it. If you don't police the guys that are taking cheap shots, then you're going to have a guy like Bertuzzi come out of nowhere and absolutely break the guy's life.
This was such a fun episode. This shout out for the Classic and shout out to the PWHL. And the NHL just has to get me riled up right at the end.
We always have to do that. And
Absolute bozos.
the yell at the Chell segment. I feel like we should have a yell at the Chell segment and then an ohm thing before we sign off, because I feel like we just get our listeners so fired up.
Can we do a minute of meditation at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
great.
I mean, shout out Zucker.
Yeah, shout out to Zucker. It was a well-deserved hit.
The team should pay his fine for him.
Worth 3 games.
We should start a GoFundMe for him, just to pay that fine.
I'm not paying that fine. That's a cup of coffee to him.
I mean, yeah. Also, that's kind of the
what
thing.
Was it, $5,000? Yeah, I mean, I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
But there's still maybe the best $5,000 you could spend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah. Well, what a week.
What a week.
Truly, I mean, so many big things this week. End of the juniors, Winter Classic, PWHL underway. Awesome. Awesome. We love it.
A great start to the year. It was fun. There wasn't a lot of negativity aside from this thing. And I mean, even then, it had a positive upside.
Sure.
We got to see Nick Cousins get his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Got absolutely dummied.
Yeah.
Looked like JFK in Dallas. Jesus.
Yeah. Good grief.
Sorry.
All right. Well, that's it for us, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else here.
Yeah. No, I got nothing. Happy New Year to everyone from us at Stick Talk, and we'll see you next week.
Have fun. Stick to those resolutions if you got them.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't, but
nah.
I
have things I'm working on this year, but I hesitate to call them New Year's resolutions, you know?
I'm always working on something. So
yeah, exactly.
If you're not working on something, then what are you doing?
Then what are you doing?
Yeah. That's your motivation for the week.
Dang right.
If you're not waking up every day and getting better at something, then what are you doing?
Should we become the motivation podcast?
No, we have enough white men shouting motivation into SM58s.
All right. Well, next week, episode 49. We'll see y'all then. As always, keep your head up.
Keep your head up. Boom.
Stick talk. 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 Stick talk.